Yeah, I think that was just such a wonderful choice there to go top instead of trying for the kill on the Naga mid, who may have had level 6 even before they arrived. Reeves with the rotation into mid here. It's not going to be seen by resolution, but yeah, discretion, the better part of valor. The lane's pushed anyway, and Silent again. I'm worried. I'm worried already because that's a 5-minute mech on a, that's a 5-minute Midas on a Silent Doom. The levels of farm that he's capable of on this hero, not to be repeating myself here, but it's scary. You've got to have a plan to address him somehow.
Yeah, Doom is, I mean, I feel like Silent is one of the best, if not the best carry in Europe, and giving him a hero like Doom who's able to farm so quickly. I mean, he's the fastest farmer in the first 20 minutes. What the fuck is going to be cutting Mag here? And a couple more right clicks. Where's the evasion? Actually, Resolution comes in at the right time. Stampede barely catching him out there as Whatafaka dives in deep into that tower. Reed's trying to lay down as much right click damage. Resolution, another hit, and a double edge. They might be able to get this kill. Phase shift dodge. Oh, still gets it at the end. Just like in game 1 up against the, or game number 2. How the puck was able to pull out that big play. Whatafaka with the phase shift dodge of the laser. Tried to do it on Resolution here. And unfortunately, the Centaur sticks around for too long.
And he, yeah,
he just gave up level 6 to a Skywrath Mage.
He gave up level 6 to a Skywrath Mage. He was saving a bunch of unreliable gold for his Blink Dagger. He looked like he was going to maybe get his Blink by 7 minutes.
Solo, this is not the fight you wanted to take, friend.
Nope.
Tries to chase away the Naga Siren. The tower will die, and he'll feed away a kill in the process.
Boy.
And Mantis will just back himself up, jumping him quite heavily in the net worth board after those two little accidents there from Empire, and will be getting himself a much faster relic if this continues.
Yeah, that's concerning because as much as I worry about Silent free farming on this Doom, and he's going to have some nice items, if you give up a 15-minute Radiance to a Naga, it kind of doesn't matter. So you've got to have a plan to address her, and boy, that Centaur maneuver was really, really unfortunate because he's got his Blink Dagger. He's going to have his Blink Dagger now, but having that up a minute earlier can make a big difference in a game like this.
Stallcats are going to be joining them in this attempt at a gank. They do have the Stampede up, so they don't necessarily need a Bat Rider to have his Blink, but the smoke actually from Empire, they're going to go once again with this sort of pseudo aggro try that they're pulling out. They're going to find Stallcat. Firefly up, concussive shot. It's going to be able to slow him down, but he's already got himself into the trees. Now the Stampede making sure he gets enough distance, and xGame do not want to have any part of trying to counter that rotation. Instead, they just let it fail and will continue to try and farm up.
Right. Yeah, that's kind of the thing with the Naga on the pace that she's on, already at 4,500 net worth at 8.5. They don't necessarily have to force the action right now. I mean, I felt like they could have if they'd have really wanted to, but nice sort of awareness of risk or reward right there.
How's Silent doing? He's got himself phase boot. Is sitting at level 8 right now, so this Marauder's got to be a bit careful if he ends up getting caught out by the Doom. Will just be run down from the Scorched Earth and a high amount of movement. Boots. Still, though, Marauder is a hero that can just soak up a little bit of experience, and they actually do pick up level 6 from that. Moonlight Shadow now being up, may be a potential ganking option. Game. That's if Equal doesn't run into these heroes of Empire. They're actually going to be going for a tier 1 tower push, it looks like, as their supports are beginning to fall off a little bit when it comes to levels. I mean, you compare this to the Rubik, who's level 6, and the Mirana, who's also and you've got Solo, who's still sitting at level 4.
Yeah, this is what I kind of wondered about a little bit in the draft, that the Venge is a nice counter to the Bat Rider, but I don't know that she does quite enough else in this game, especially on the Radiant side for you, in these engagements right now.
Tier 1 tower just got be slapped down here, as xGame are not really concerned to be too late to get to this tower.
Yeah, I mean, they're kind of
wasting time.
All in here. Yeah, I agree with that. They're kind of all in on the Naga, but I feel like they still could be used. Their 4 heroes. They're another to a minute with these.
Yeah, I mean, I think they could have taken that fight with the Blink Dagger on the Centaur. If they just blink in his fight, and at the very fight, you'll probably come away with a decent trade that'll probably still keep the alive, or at least draw out Empire's push a little bit longer. And that kind of delaying factor just means that Mantis is able to spend more time farming up his relic in safety.
Yeah, I can see both sides of it, though. I can see them saying, look, we don't have a blink on our Batrider, and with Naga just now about 600 gold short of her relic, we don't really want her joining a fight under any circumstances where she has any chance of dying. I can see them being a little bit reluctant to fight. Also, Naga doesn't have a single point in snare, which I guess isn't that unusual. I mean, there's no like enigma in the game. She doesn't need to stop a channel or anything of that nature, but still, she is not looking to fight at all at this point in the match.
Yeah, so close to that relic, just another 600 gold. Meanwhile, there is a Empire, 5-manning, or 4-manning rather, and trying to farm up his Blink Dagger, and if they do successfully push down this middle tower, that'll give them some pretty key critical items. This time around, though, xGame will be fighting them out, and not going to be able to find that initiation. I would really love to see them use that early Naga Siren ultimate there for initiation. Centaur actually gets a 2-man host off, almost wiping out both of them with the Star Storm. Will be able to get him now. Silent in some trouble as the Stolen Clap does a serious amount of damage. Single hero low enough for him to throw out the ultimate. 3 heroes go down on the side of Empire, and xGame finally find the initiation they're looking for.
Yeah, that Centaur initiation, that was legit, because the combination of the Centaur spell combo and the Mirana Starfall, I mean, the 2 Empire supports were just blown right off the map. They were dead before the fight had even really begun, and that's the case for Mantis to finish his Radiance on the Naga Siren at an unbelievable time here.
Resolution, gonna fill up his bottle with the double damage here. Mantis running into him with the ultimate, has to get it off. Resolution trying to get off that silence in time. Won't be able to. That being said, he'll finish up the Blink Dagger body. That's actually a really favorable trade for them, solely because like the Centaur for the Vengeful Spirit, not so good, but the Doom was stolen by the Rubik, and he's going to hold on to that one for future fights.
Yeah, that's a really big deal, because that spell alone, they have to realize that they've got it. So I mean, it's not necessarily the surprise factor, but that spell alone, I mean, you get that off on a puck
crap on
and
Resolution.
Spot. Both of them are so hurt by Rubik having that spell, and that's part of why I thought the Rubik.
So we have another 1800 gold on the Doom. Do they have anybody else? They don't have a mech hero, so he may still try and invest into the mech, though. If he would have gotten it, I think you go up before the drums.
I mean, it probably wasn't the original plan, but now that they dropped that last engagement, I think you got to seriously. He's pretty far ahead. The Naga's going to have a Radiance quickly, but not ridiculously quickly. He probably thinks, okay, I can go straight right click or straight carry. Now you do have to think seriously about getting that mech, if only because you saw how quickly their supports got blown up in that last fight.
xGame are clearing through the enemy jungle right now with their smoke, making use of the Batrider, even if they don't find a pickoff. They also get themselves a really good ward. With this kind of rotation, it looks like they have to stop this middle push, as even though the Centaurs heavily pushing down the bottom lane, Empire don't really seem to care, as they would much rather take a trade here by taking the middle tier 1 tower. We do have initiation tools up for them in the most recent minutes.
Yeah, I don't think you have to fight here as xGame. You're 300
Resolution
away.
missing his opportunity. Stampede goes off. Reed's unable to get off that Doom. And now the Brewmaster ultimate goes off as well. What the fuck is going to be doomed up? And they're going to take him down with at least the Brewmaster. Batrider will rotate himself farther down the river. And unfortunately, xGame there, unable to find the initiation, and largely in part because Reeves gets silenced up before he can use that Doom.
It's just a mistake. You don't need to fight there. At the point where they started that fight, Mantis was 300 off his Radiance. He's going to have it right now. You can easily afford to give up a tier 1 tower in exchange for a 15-minute Radiance on your Naga Siren. I'm a little bit irritated that they chose to take that fight at all.
Stallcat still looking for an opening here. It's going to be stunned up and bursted down by the supports alone. Mantis now coming in with this Radiance. Is going to be copping an orb to the face. And that now puts him in danger. Being popped arrow, sneaking right past Solo. May still be able to get the telekinesis on him, pull back into the Starstorm, and finish him off real quickly. On top of that, they also get an additional disable. Swadafugga blinks himself into the trees. Not quite where he wanted to go, but they still get something small for Mantis to build in even further. And this puts a lot of pressure on Empire right now, because this Naga Siren is going to start spreading out those illusions and farming up so much in the map, particularly your side of the jungle. As you can see, these illusions are already heading into these camps and taking away some crucial farm for Empire.
Yeah, and I mean, you can't fault Silent for going the blink. It's a good aggressive item choice, but boy, oh boy, you're going to have a mech or a pipe somehow, because your team just gets burned to death by this Radiance so quickly at this point in the game.
Yeah, and I have no idea, like, who's really going to be able
if she had a bit more farm, but I mean, that's just going to take forever at this point.
Yeah, support mechs are really tough to rely on.
Exactly.
For these early game engagements. Arrow's going to come down and, will hit Silent. Doesn't look like they're going to try and take the fight, though. xGame have already backed themselves up. And Mantis will go up to the top lane, where he will begin to farm with the Radiance and spread his illusions all over the map.
Yeah, and I mean, it pretty much, for Empire at this point, becomes a matter of your first, last, and only
jump in. Stallcat's going to find resolution, and, well, even with the arrow missing, they'll still get that pretty critical pick off there. Stampede goes down. xGame just looking for a clean extraction. They got a kill. They'll back themselves up, playing the patience game. I like that. Silent, though, gets a 2-man Centaur stomp. That's going to be a great start for him. Gets off the Doom on Reese, which will take that support out, but he's pretty deep in here. He's going to be stunned up by the hoof stomp. Nice denied there from Equal. Stun up from Solo is going to be able to finish off the Mirana there. As always, one of Fly's last. New connects. Wadafugga gets caught by the concussive shot, but has a Force Staff to move himself forward. Stallcat now a Firefly up in a few more seconds. Safe. And a Brewmaster ultimate has been burned for nothing. Solo's going to die as now this Naga Siren burns through these supports so easily. The Silence. Oh my God! How did Silence live?
He just got the blink off before the song. Unbelievable.
That is so unfortunate. I mean, he was. Did not get his TP disabled. At the same time, Mag did get himself away, but Empire there. I'd say that Empire is usually the one team that is a bit more controlled in their aggression. That time, though, was classic CIS Dota. That was just them going way, way, way too deep.
Yeah, and I mean, even at the beginning of that fight, you know, they had a 5v4 with Naga on the other side of the map, and they still managed to lose resolution to start the plan to address this Naga.
Yeah, bye-bye Reeves. Well, maybe not. He's got a wand. Telekinesis goes out, turns around the Dream Coil onto the puck, who's now going to be picked up by the lasso and taken down. Nice reactions there from Reeves.
They might get Manus here. They've got Manus. That's such a huge kill.
Yeah, very, very big. Silent is now going to have himself a BKB here pretty soon. But unfortunately, they lost the puck in the process, which may not give them enough time to be aggressive.
I mean, it's without a mech or some type of damage mitigation for the team, the Puck, the Skywrath, and the Venge, all three of them are just so vulnerable. Even Mag, when he has his ult down, I mean, he's sitting on 1100 HP. It's just not that much anymore at this point in the game.
Yeah, especially with the Naga Siren, just the Riptide and Radiance alone is just crushing these supports. I mean, we saw through that last team fight, the Lucians themselves pretty much soloed up two different supports. And I think you're right, man. I'm not sure. I mean, again, you were talking about the Blink Dagger, and you said you can't really blame them for going the Blink, and you really can't, because they need that kind of initiation. They need that kind of jump to be able to take the Naga Siren out of the fight immediately, or maybe even the Centaur, but they desperately need some extra HP on these heroes, as these team fights are, like, it's not like Empire have this sort of team fight that goes in and, oh my god, they bursted down 3 different heroes in the space of 5 seconds. That's really not their game, right? Yeah. The Doom is slow damage over time. They have the Puck, who's a decent amount of burst mixed in with the Skywrath Mage, but the Brewmaster certainly does need a lot of time for his Brewlings to work in, and when you've got 2 different cores who are more damage over time related and less burst oriented, it means these team fights are going to draw out, and that Radiance becomes very, very damaging in these team fights when that happens.
Yeah, and it's always interesting to me because Puck is not necessarily a hero that you talk about as a hard farmer, but he is incredibly farm dependent. You're seeing that in this match. That, I mean, the difference point, Puck was most of the way to his next major item in the game. I mean, Resolution has not played a bad game by any means, but he's just not farmed enough to be able to cope with all this damage potential coming out from xGame.
The Moonlight Shadow, the constant opportunities here for xGame. They not only have the Naga Siren, but they have these initiation factors where the Moonlight Shadow or the Lasso or these sort of pick-off things are able to allow them to extend this game a lot longer due to the fact that they find pick-offs or force favorable team fights, which is super hurtful to Empire.
Absolutely right. I mean, when the team with the Naga
Motherfucker jumps in, almost gets off the host dump, and does get silenced up. He's going to force staff himself away. Skywrath Mage drops the ultimate, and the Puck will be able to finish him off with the silence. At the same time, Batrider goes for the Skywrath Mage. Resolution now focusing on Equal, trying to go for that kill. Starstorm dodges the second one. Mantis is now coming in, though. Meanwhile, the Brewlings are trying to focus on that support. They do find finish off the Mirana. Reeds are going to go down as well as an orb goes over the top. Silent gets off the Doom on Mantis, and that is huge. Nice little force staff usage there from Stallcat. Resolution trying to keep up. Silent blinks himself forward, and they didn't quite do enough damage for Mantis to take out, unfortunately. They will chase him away and secure this tier 1 tower, so in the end, it's a good fight for them, but it was so close to being a great fight if they'd only killed that Naga Siren.
Yeah, they need like one more kill here in the next few minutes on Naga, because that kill bottom slowed her down a little bit. It's Yasha, which, I mean, is good, but it's not quite that just ridiculous spike farming we can see out of Naga when she finishes the Radiance that early. They're probably okay, but boy, oh boy, it's still, it's danger time for Empire in this game right now.
So I briefly considered, like, there was a moment in time where I was like, the Brewmaster, because I saw this Gloves of Haste that he had. I was like, the Brewmaster. And I almost said Midas.
You've got to be joking.
I almost said Midas. And I was like, just finishing up his treads. Because I was like, oh, he's not going to Midas. He's going for treads. But we'll see how that works for him. Always Want to Fly is going to be caught out by the Batrider. The Batrider Centaur combination. So good at being able to He even gets the added benefit of being able to steal the Arcane Bolt. Not a bad spell for him at all.
I mean, it's not horrible overall, because I understand Mag just desperate to get back into this game.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah. Blows the song almost.
It's a level 2 song, so it's not as bad, but still.
I don't understand how against a Radiance bots Yasha Naga at 22 minutes that you expect that Midas to pay for itself.
Well, maybe they're looking to be able to stretch this out into the long game. I don't really advise that against the Naga Siren, but I mean...
After 40 minutes, Doom has almost a 70% win rate in this version. He is wonderful, but it's all about lineups. And again, there's that Midas for you. We go down yet again. That's just... Mag is really having... These last 2 games, he's struggled about as badly as I've seen him struggle in the last... last couple of months.
Moonlight Shadow looking for that initiation. They have no idea. The lasso goes out. They're going to try and go for Mag here, dragging him back into the rest of the team. This is a good pickoff, and it's actually going to force Empire away from the Roshan pit, as they're going to try and respond to that 3-man gank of xGame. The initiation goes out. Equal is going to be caught out by the concussive shot. It will be able to land that slow. What if Fucker also gets swapped, but immediate blink away. Still going to be caught by the Mystic Coil, but the teleport away, not in time. Magic Missile will land on him, and he caught. Empire with 2 quick kills there will now go in Empire, it looks like a tier 2 tower push and possibly still turn that into Roshan as well. Or maybe just go straight for Roshan instead.
Yeah, but they got to watch it. I mean, with Naga farming top here and getting ready to send her illusions out, they could lose their own tier 2 in the meantime.
Yeah, and it's always tough to deal with a Bat Rider and a Naga Siren. I mean,
exactly.
Them trying to sneak in the Roshan itself was kind of surprising, just because the Radiant side, they haven't really had that much map control, etc., etc. But against a Naga Siren, that is so dangerous, and then the Bat Rider as well is incredibly good at pickoffs in the Rosh pit.
Well, but at the same time, though, okay, Empire understand we're getting to the point in this match where they need to start taking some risks. They cannot afford to sit back and just farm silent. They've got to get some objectives. They've got to get some map control back somehow here, as hard as that is to do against a Naga Siren. I like the idea of claiming Rosh, and they were able to get a couple of kills off the back of it when they rotated out of the pit. They need to do more of that, because right now xGame does not need to come to them.
So talking about the late game here, because it seems like Empire very set on this going into the late game. I don't think they shut down the Naga Siren early enough.
There's no late game. I'm sorry. A Naga Siren's going to get her heart here in another 6-7 minutes. And how are you going to get out of your base?
Yeah, they're going to have to get some expert initiation sets for sure, because part of the problem is the Empire that they may actually be able to win late game engagements, but the Naga Siren has such better split push, you eventually just get ratted out.
Right.
And so you usually won't have those opportunities to be able to force those team fights up against a Naga Siren.
That's my thing. I mean, Empire's a veteran team, and if anybody has a chance of coming back from this position, it's probably them. But
Skullcat, nice initiation.
This would be such a huge kill.
If they can finish off Silent here, looks like they should be able to. All the burst damage in the world. They do take him down. The Brewmaster gets off his ultimate. Moonlight Shadow goes down, and they don't have any vision. Dream Call goes out, but the sleep from Mantis puts a sleep to everybody except for the Brewlings. And Silent with the buyback. If they can get a clean extraction here, this is so damn big. They're going to lose their Centaur, which is fine for now. Silent still jumping in. Will be able to find Equal, who solo is going to be going down to the Illusions here. As Reeves, also trying to run himself away, is going to be caught, looks like. So he's going to die. Mantis, surprised he's still around at all. In fact, he's going to go for this fight. Already taking out the Skywrath Mage, but the Doom goes down on Mantis. And now the extra bit of burst damage. Mantis should be falling here to the damage over time. Now Skullcat's going to fall as well, as Silent is beating him to a pulp. Force Staff to the side. Silent is actually going to be forced to use his BKB here. Level Death will finish off the Bat Rider. And Silent, the lone survivor of that team fight, but he was also the first death at the same time. So his buyback is
not monumental mistake coming out from Mantis there. That buyback, I mean, it paid for itself like 3 times over in that fight, with Doom getting a triple kill, including the Naga. No reason there for Mantis to die. And I mean, yeah, that's 35 seconds that Naga's off the map. Even if Empire can't necessarily take advantage of it, you know, you're right. They are going to, for better or for worse, they are going to force this into the late game. And if they're going to do that, their chances of success are so strongly related to time that they can keep Naga off of the map.
27.5 minutes in. It's 24-23. It is very, very tight game so far. Only a 3,000 gold lead for xGame, while the experience slightly in the favor of Team Empire right now. We have a big item. Shiva's coming up here for Silent, as he just needs to get to the secret shop to be able to finish off that item. So that is huge when it comes to chasing potential. Also makes him much, much tankier up against and some of that minus armor Riptide damage that he's going to be taking. At the same time, Naga going to be picking up a heart here in a very short amount of time. If he hadn't died there in the bottom team fight, he would be practically already there. Yeah,
that's kind of right now in terms just having a chokehold, a heart on the Naga Siren, and that's part of why I thought that kill was so big on bot. And you know, since we have a pause, and since this issue came up in a previous cast not that long ago, I just want to say, right, when we're talking about the late game here, okay, it's not just about the 5-on-5 hero matchups. It's not just about who we think is going to win in this massive wombo combo type team fight. It's which team we think is going to be able to control the map and dictate when and where the engagements occur. That's the secret to Naga, right? She's not bad at a fight, but she's not exactly a dominating hero in a 5-on-5 engagement. Yeah. The reason that she can dominate is the fact that she can control the entire map, and her team gets to decide where and when the engagements are going to happen, and they're almost always going to be on that other team's side of the map.
Yeah, I completely agree with that, Break. Oh, you have a team that you look at and probably has a late game advantage. What's happening and how the actual execution of the team fight occurs. So you can't necessarily just lay it down and go, this team will win in late game team fights. So a lot of it comes down to those alternate factors, and that's why when going into late game, how many options do you have as a late game team is really important, and that's the xGame have the more Sleep is amazing for going for simple pickoffs and halting a team fight. I mean, there's so many different options to utilize that, and that's just her ultimate. Then you throw in the images and the way you're able to split push and rat and constantly harass the enemy team. Empire rather, are just going to be left with trying to farm up and get as much team fight as possible, as many team fight items as possible, and hope that they're able to take this into the late game. They don't have really many other options than kind of looking for smoke pickoffs, and that's kind of it when xGame are getting so much map control out of this Naga Siren.
Yeah, still though, to me, single biggest, most important factor in a late game team fight that almost nobody talks about is quite simply where on the map it happens. Because if you lose a team fight right outside your base, bye-bye rocks.
Right.
If you lose a team fight right outside the enemy's base, you got time. And the creeps only run so fast.
Right, and even if you're forced into a buyback, it's less time that is on your buyback timer because you wait for the enemy team to push into your base first before you use that, and that could be pretty important later on into the game when your next death occurs and how big that penalty is going to be with that stacked up buyback time. So it's those kind of factors play a very significant part. You could see Mantis once again pushing in the bottom lane, farming up the enemy jungle, even contesting Solo right now, as Solo's going to lose half of his health just to that one. Earn Charge will come in to try and help him out, but that's just small resources being burnt. The Doom is actually still keeping in pace with the Naga Siren, only 2,000 gold behind her right now, and that's largely because he was the last remaining hero of that last team fight, so he got his buyback gold back from being a part of those kills.
Yeah, but again, whenever you look at a hero like Doom or like Alchemist, the sort of mental math you do is that Greed and Devour usually account for about 15% of their total gold. Midas is another have a something like a 20% lead on another carry at this point, and you know he doesn't. I mean. You gotta account for the fact that getting gold is part of these. But you gotta do something here.
They got church bells clanging. Is going to be able to pick. They have to try and get out. Naga Siren is sitting here inside the jungle. They could actually try and catch out these heroes, but it looks like Empire somehow being seen inside the Roche pit will be fine. In fact, Stallcat's going to be in some trouble. Stampede goes out on the right side. Solo is still hiding himself. He's going to be seen here by the Bat Rider. Teleport away won't be in time. And a Yule Scepter. Will be putting a stop to that attempt by him. So Solo's going to be lose very little there. They lost the courier, but the bigger part for me was that the gem was down. This late into the game, courier kills are nice, but they aren't that huge of a gold factor. And then the courier, I mean, if you really need a courier that badly, at this pace, you can just always buy a second one.
Yeah, exactly. Go in for the Aegis. You get the gem as sort of a booby prize, but nope, sorry. Take it right back again. And yeah, the position for xGame in this match is, I really do feel like you look at a gold lead is kind of meh, right? But it is all about this Naga and the kind of control that she's going to be able to exert over the entire map. So coming out of the pause here, I think Empire, despite, you know, I guess I'll use the Englishman word, the cheekiness of some of these plays, they got to keep trying to do this. They have to take some risks here in the next 5 or 10 minutes, or this game is just going to get out of control for them.
Yeah, if I was this game, it's just like, right. Okay, that's the. They may not have realized it the first time that Empire went for that really ballsy Roshan pickup, but. This last time, they certainly do signal, hey, they're trying to steal Roshan here it's probably best if we just take it for ourselves if possible, and I think that's what they're doing, hanging around the Roshan pit. I'm not sure if they really want to go for a straight up like 5-man into the Rosh pit. Naga Siren's definitely good for that, but for me, I think it's still a bit of a risk. I would rather back is up.
And you can just see by the fact that both teams have 2 wards. There's a little D ward there. Or did that expire? I guess that probably expired for the Dire side. But still, you can just see the importance that both teams are attaching to that Rosh pit, and that's just the way Dota is played right now.
Moonlight Shadow is being used xGame in the openings, and the pauses continue. So Pipe is going to be up soon here for the Centaur War Runner. We also have the Heart being finished up by Mantis. Skullcat has himself Yule Scepter, which we saw disabling solo earlier into the game. The 2 supports, not really anything coming out from them. Same thing goes on this the Empire side. The supports have been pretty underleveled all game round.
Resolution with the Scythe. Yeah,
that's a big pickup. And we also have seen the Brewmaster go for an Aghanims. Now, there was one game recently where I saw a battle Brewmaster, and there was even, I believe, NS who praised this player. I can't actually remember who it was that did this. But he went for like a battle Brewmaster build, which did not mean he went for Aghanims. Plus an Abyssal. With that Blink Dagger, he was able to do a lot of damage. It was super tanky, and was able to just fall back on his ultimate. He got a little bit too low, and then would fall back on the fact that he was decent to save. Admitted to taking this game late, it seems. That they know the Naga Siren's probably going to get 6-slotted here, and they're just saying, hey, we're going to let this go late and see what we can do. Do you think the Brewmaster should be going for a build like that, or he's going Aghanims and is going to be maybe going for something like, you know, Shiva's or a Refresher, a bit more utility build on this brew?
Okay, well, let me answer that question in 2 parts. Okay. Because in this game, I think it's a completely moot point. All right, he's so far behind on engagements in this game. I mean, the build that you're talking about, I actually really like it in general. People say all the time about how Brewmaster falls off at the 35, 40-minute mark. And my question is always, well, why? Why does he have to? Right? If you build this hero, if you just look at his skill set, right? If you build this hero more like a traditional right-click and carry, he can have an impact well into the game, well beyond the 40-minute mark.
Right, he's got great scaling from his passive. It's an amazing build.
Level of farm that he's got. Aghanims is by far his best.
We're going to be seeing the unpause here. Hopefully the game will remain unpaused as both teams are centering up somewhere around the middle lane. Both teams trying to keep an eye on Roshan. Oh, Skullcat's going to be caught out here. The Sight Device goes out. Shiva's not quite clipping him, and he can actually blink himself away. So just the Shiva's by itself being so close, the swap goes down. Still, he has the Firefly to get himself over the cliffs here. The last little nukes will be enough to finish him off there, namely Silence Level Death that was able to do that extra damage since he was level 15. It's amazing how often I've seen this Level Death actually play a huge part when you have that extra bit of damage there. Batrider probably still would have died due to the extra disables that were floating in, but still a factor you have to consider. Resolution with the gem is going to be able to kill this ward and take some control of the Roshan pit. Reeves turns around and stuns up Silent, but is going to be losing his own life as Brewmaster commits the ultimate here just to get that pick off, and will be dropping the gem on the deck. At the same time, the top lane is pushing in equal, trying to put that pressure as much as possible with the help of Mantis's illusions. But they're going to lose a tier 2 in exchange for a pretty minimal amount of tier 3
They can't even go through backdoor in the mid. Empire won't even be able to take the tier 2. A little bit unfortunate, right, that Brewmaster just finished up his Ags just after he uses his ultimate. But that's not to be helped. I mean, you got to try and make a play there. You got to try and do something. But really not being able to take that tier 2 mid, yikes.
As Silent's going to come up and cut off equal. And with the leap up in just a second, he'll get himself some extra distance.
Yeah, he's away.
And blinks himself away. Resolution did not have a blink or an orb up. And with that many heroes up in the top lane, xGame immediately going in for Roshan. Such a smart decision.
And Aegis on Naga here is very nearly forget about it territory.
Yeah, it certainly is. That what was it, drums being finished up by Marana, something small. Roshan is not dying fast enough. Empire will be able to try and contest this a little bit. See whether or not they can actually do much here. Oh, resolution quick there. And a quick little phase shifts from resolution actually dodged the initiation from Stall. So he doesn't have to fully commit. There's 3,000 health left on Roshan, so they won't be able to commit to finishing off Roshan before this team fight occurs. Now, Empire are staggering their initiation here. One, they don't have solo, which is a minimal impact, but namely the fact that they're having 3 heroes right here. They still don't have Always Wanna Fly, who I think is a bigger impact than solo at this point. With this amount of burst damage, you kind of need to be able to burst down one of these heroes. Now, Stallcat is probably going to be that first hero, as he should be silenced up from here. He does have a Yule Scepter, though, to be able to delay this, and let's not forget that Mantis always has his ultimate to be able to fall back on as well.
See, you are being a good caster, and I'm having trouble keeping my brain on the fight here because I really want there to be some utility that we can use to monitor players' connection status. And I'm not accusing anybody of anything, but God, what I have to say about all that.
Unfortunate.
It happens. Look, even if the game was perfect and there were no bugs and the servers were perfect, it's probably running Windows. Okay, so problems are going to happen. That's not, like I say, I'm not accusing anybody of anything. It's just that it's unfortunate to me that we all have to look at something like this and even wonder, right? Let's just take the doubt out of the equation, okay? Because there's just no reason for us to have to ask the questions. But yeah, I do think Empire are in it. I don't think that they're going to be able to get in position to do something here in time to prevent Naga from. That's the bottom line. At the end of the day, she can always sing while they finish and then pick the Aegis up thereafter.
What sort of things do you think you can do to mitigate the pause and the effect it has on the game? Do you think you can like when the pause happens, everybody's screens goes blank after 2 seconds?
Or looking for a utility that would be made available.
Right.
I don't necessarily think you need to do anything mechanically within the game. Okay.
I was just thinking maybe it's an idea, right? Just like, oh, okay, never mind. We're gonna have the unpause going on.
There you go.
Stallcat, let's see what happens. He's gonna be sheeped up actually, and they may be able to burst him down. He still has the Yule Scepter to be used. Already down as well. Mantis now gonna be interrupted by Always Wanna Fly, but he's a little bit overzealous there in his initiation. Stallcat coming in from the side, looks like Roshi. Illusions are going to chase down Solo. I think he's 100% dead. Unless he gets off some sort of good swap. And there goes the stop. He will go down. They win the fight at the same time of being able to take that Roshan. Aegis
I have a lot of sympathy for Empire, and that's because Mag still had like 40 seconds to go on his ult when they initiated that fight, but you got to do something there. You can't just though. I look for xGame just to be able to salt this game away here in the next few minutes.
Yep, it's looking like it, man. xGame game against Empire. Moving on to face up against the winners of Power Rangers versus Moscow 5, which already happened the other day, and Power Rangers actually won that 2-0. So they are waiting whoever is the winner of this matchup, and that the winner of that match will actually go into the losers bracket finals to 3 to one of those 3rd and 4th slots left.
And you're keeping me on track because there's a big part of me that wants to face 13-year-olds DDoSing people in the middle of a game, but I'm not going to do that. We're going to talk about the teams and the tournament because this is really going to be a really neat arc. Whatever happens. You've already seen EG and Navi US advance from the they're covering the event. It's going to be awesome. If you are there tickets left, by the way?
Yes, I believe there's tickets, so you should
man.
definitely go check out that and go buy one for yourself if you're anywhere near New York or
yes,
have the finances and the time to be able to do so. ESL One Frankfurt. For me, outside of TI4,
you killed it. Yeah.
Both from a viewing perspective and actually being there, I have to tell you guys, man, the being in the stadium environment there, it was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. And ESL One New York is looking like it's going to be just as amazing, but we are back into the game. Tier 2 does go down to the bottom lane, and it looks like xGame going to play this patiently here. Even though they have this Aegis advantage, they've got every single lane pushing out. It looks like they're going to just hold on to their map superiority right now and just sit back and farm up some.
You're playing against Naga, you want to start tearing your hair out because you're losing tier 3 towers to Naga illusions.
Yep.
And it's just, there is nothing more frustrating. But against this level of Dota, these teams are good enough. They recognize and they see the path the game is taking to get you that. Time to address it is not now. Minutes ago, and you know, much as deserves credit here, right? Mantis has played a great game. Space. I mean, that's we've seen a very nice game, aggressive coming out. The rest of the team has done just enough to keep Mantis on this just breakneck pace.
Yeah. Now a 5-slotted Naga Siren with an Aegis on top of all that. Got one more item he can build. Into resolution is being burnt away now that you have both the heart as well as the butterfly up on her. The Naga Siren illusions are hitting very, very hard, and they're spreading all over the map. And bit by bit, they're going to take down these range racks.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's not just the damage that they deal. It's just that they're so annoying to get AoE on Empire to handle that. I mean, you've got Puck's Orb and Brewmaster's clap, but gosh, and interesting to me, Mag going into the Morbid ads, and this is a great, this is a really, it's a great item. I mean, you've got to, I think, pretty much at the 40-minute mark in most lineups, if you don't have a Vlad's on your team, it's a mistake. It really is a very, very good item, even apart from the lifesteal. The aura and the percentage bonuses are very powerful.
Speaking of very, very late item being picked up, we also had the most recent item pickup for xGame was on the Mirage.
That's interesting. But again, you know what? I'm all right with it. I mean, basically, the goal for xGame right now is just to, as we've said, something at base and just never have to leave. And anything that you get that can contribute to that, I actually really like the mech and the pipe on the Centaur and the Mirana. It's just that much more sustain.
Mm-hmm. Especially when you're able to throw it on Naga Siren illusions as well. And we're going to have a possibility of a remake here with the load. I don't think anything significant has happened in the last minute or so, so shouldn't really affect too badly.
Yeah, and I mean, the bottom line is that this is a game that given the position in the game that xGame should win. You want both teams to have the chance to play this out on a level playing field. I'm sure. You know what, Empire, I've seen them enough and heard enough of their players to know they're a classy organization. Nobody wants to win because the opponent has these connection issues in a match like this. It would be really unfortunate.
All right, guys, so it looks like we're going to be having ourselves a remake from the 37-minute mark, so only losing 15 or 17 seconds, not too big of a deal. And right now we have this is game number 3, Empire versus xGame, also known as NextKZ. A lot of people betting rares on Empire. They are the more skill the xGame have, but in this best of 3 matchup, xGame are actually in a gigantic lead going into game number 3. They're currently sitting with a pretty damn good gold lead. They are sitting with a huge amount of map control and a Naga Siren who is practically 6-slotted. He's got 5 different big luxury items, as well as a later game Aegis that is going to be able to last for a few more minutes. And this matchup will determine who's going to be knocked out of the ESL One European qualifier and who's going to be moving on to face up against Power Rangers in one of the lower bracket matches.
Yeah, in a sort of roundabout way, it actually reminds me of last year when Alliance really started to struggle. I mean, you after TI3, in the early game, saying, all right, you know, we know that you have this one player that's just going to cause issues for us throughout the game, but how are your other 4 going to respond if we just basically throw the kitchen sink at him? I mean, xGame has really concentrated in these last 2 games on shutting down Mag. I've never seen him struggle as much on Batrider as he did in this last game, and you saw, you know, the rotations that he was victim of on his Brewmaster in this match, and again, it's when your playmaker or one of your playmakers gets shut down, it can be very difficult for your other 4 to respond. But there's a reason it's a 5-on-5 game.
All right, well, we are just waiting on one last member of xGame to get back in here, and we will be ready to go to start this thing off once again.
There we go.
There it is. Just waiting on Reeves. So Empire, they're currently locked inside their base. They need to be able to make something big happen. And this is where it goes back into when you're locked inside your base, you really don't have many other options besides smoke ganking and trying to make very, very successful smoke ganks. They got to try and find a pickoff on this Naga Siren. They do have a refresher on Silence Doom, which is going to be able to potentially have a very, very large impact in these team fights if they can find the initiation. I'm not sure if they can. That the way that xGame are playing very patiently, I mean, even displaying the fact that they didn't actually go for that final push after having the Aegis and winning a team fight like that, these towers, they just lit them down. And they went back, farmed up some more, finished off the Butterfly and the Naga Siren. They're playing this very patiently. They do not want to be losing this game to jumps.
Yeah, I agree. I think that xGame, kind of similar to the last game, I felt like in the last game that xGame probably could have finished it off just a little bit early. They probably could have gone for that death push, you know, maybe 5 minutes earlier in the game. But I have a problem with a team that could go through for a death push and is just kind of not efficiently using its time. xGame in these last 2 matches, they've delayed a little bit longer than I thought they had to, but their time relatively efficiently, getting resources from around the map.
Silence still has enough gold to actually invest into another big luxury item if this game draws out for a few more minutes and he's able to farm up. He's got 3,200 gold in the bank. Obviously, he wants to be able to hold on to buyback, which is pretty important right now. Well, I say that. Somebody bought something. 2 out of 5 of the members of xGame do have a buyback, and same thing goes for Empire. But, of course, xGame not really looking for the fight just yet. And that's a single illusion. He loses that man fight.
That's just, I mean, it is so hard to do anything at this point without just a brilliant Doom initiation from onto Mantis's Naga Siren. It's difficult to envision how they're going to deal with this constant pressure from all 3 lanes.
Solo's going to have a 4-staff soon, and there's really not much else on the side of Empire that we haven't already talked about. And, of course, these sort of who goes down.
I mean, that's the thing, right? If Mag's Brewmaster can't win a man fight with these illusions, I mean, how are Vengeful Spirit? I mean, you know, speaking as somebody that's been in this position in many pubs, it's pretty painful as a support.
Poor Vengeful Spirit.
Yeah, rip.
Silent is this is the problem, right? xGame are just going to slowly but surely win this game via attrition with the Naga Siren Illusions taking down these tier 3s, maybe picking up a support kill every now and then, and maybe even the range racks as well, which is something they have to be worried about. That permanent damage. Sure, the melee racks are going to be a little bit safer against this constant poking of the illusions, but those range racks, that's permanent damage. With every single slice of those illusions, you're gaining nothing back from it, and as the game draws out, eventually they will die.
Yeah, and I mean, you just saw a few minutes ago, or a few moments ago, what a fuck blinking forward, double edging a creep wave, and forced out.
And what better rune for Mantis to find than illusion rune? That around, especially with a buff up to melee illusion runes, making that even stronger.
I'm just gonna do ancients while I TP your base, okay?
Yeah, pretty much.
Or while I push your base. Wow, that's yeah, that sucks.
What's the last luxury item here for Naga Siren? I mean, Diffusal is always nice because the illusions become really obnoxious, but is that really the best luxury item for you? The last 6th slot for a Naga Siren?
No, I mean...
Is it Scotty because of the stats and the slow that you're able to lay down?
So you can make a kind of unusual argument for either Refresher or Necrobook.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of Refresher as a 7-slot item here for Naga Sirens in the past.
Yeah, I mean, you've seen the Eternal Envy sort of Refresher Orb on his Naga Siren with the Courier following him around with the Necrobook, and I mean that's legit. As legit as any 7 or 8 slot build can be. A little silly, really, but you know what? That's Naga.
Whatafaka able to get his heart up on the Centaur as well, and we've definitely seen the display of Centaurs in the past going into late game when they're able to get a big strength to take an item like this heart. The return actually turns into a lot of extra damage and solution. All it did have was the counterwords on it, though, so nothing major. Moonlight Shadow going to be used by Equal. See, somehow got himself trapped inside the trees, and he's going to be swatted out here and blown up by the Skywrath Mage ultimate. Apparently they did see him with this ward, and him leaping into the trees ends up kind of getting him screwed. Still, though, I mean, just that 5-man movement into the Marauder allows this Naga Siren just to be able to clean up a lot of these, and look at Always Wanna Fly. He's going to die. Illusions, man. Like, Solo could even die here, being chased all the way into the fountain. Another Riptide's going to come on up second. Look at that. It goes down to 120 health.
Yeah, this is the point where if I were in chat, I'd be sitting there. Game is so Resident Sleeper. I mean, it is just a slow war of attrition right now, but you can see over time these T3 towers just taking damage and regenning fast enough. I mean, eventually Empire is going to have to force something.
Yep, tier 3 tower. But Mantis has been caught. Yep, they're going to have to sight the Vice going down. Mag trying to catch up. He still has his ultimate to be able to lay down. They desperately need. Won't be able to get. They still have the Brewlings, though, that are going to be able to hold Mantis in place. They have the Cyclone throwing him up. The Sleep will go down eventually, and they should be able to finish him off here. Mantis is going to lose his Aegis as well as the secondary life if they can go ahead and hold him in with the Doom. Now, Mantis is going to be turned around, going on to solo. Now the Doom goes out onto Mantis. And he should be able to finish him off. Batrider trying to provide some sort of interception here, but the clap and less the right-click damage, they will finish him off, which is huge. Solo actually goes for the swap. Meanwhile, the top lane, Whatafaka is going for the melee racks. In response, Naga Siren already buying back like this. Is a very risky play. They're going to go for the full-on team fight here in the top lane. Resolution is going to fall, and another buyback.
To be careful now, though. They could lose the game if Naga dies again.
Yeah, exactly. Reeve's going to be gone on. They're going to lose that support real quickly. Silent popping his BKB, chasing the rest of these heroes out. Need to really finish off this melee racks. Nice arrow onto Resolution. What can Equal? Unable to do anything about it as you get Silence up. Batrider. Eul Scepter going down, trying to live, and will get the blink away just in time. Equal also trying to get out with his leap as Whatafaka turns on to Always Wanna Fly. The constant Radiance burn damage doing so much work against these supports. Puck hiding himself and couldn't even get off the site device. Meanwhile, bottom lane racks will be going down as Mantis claims that one. And now just turns into the last couple set of racks here. Melee racks in the mid and top lane is all that's left. Evil gets popped through quickly by Mag to continue to go for Whatafaka here. Cellcat now dragging back Mag. It's going to be able to finish off with the help of Mantis. Silent comes in with the Shivas trying to do what he can. Batrider barely living it. He's now going to be surrounded. Actually, Mantis instead going for solo. A little bit delayed by the swap. Silent, last one left. xGame seemed to not even care. Now the Brewmaster comes in with another ultimate. Is going to be going for Whatafaka, also trying to delay up Mantis as much as possible. Doom is up in another second. They've got two different Dooms to be able to lay in, but the last Range Rags is going to be going down here. They have to finish off this Naga down. What hero can he pick off? He's going to go for what a fuck up. This is going to be huge. Naga Siren is down for 100 seconds. Clap's going to be able to finish off the Centaur. They continue to go through. Hero after hero. They've got 90 seconds with Naga Siren down, but they have Mega Creeps pushing in every single lane, and they do not have the puck. They do not have the Vengeful Spirit. And unfortunately, it looks like Empire won't be able to just 5-man down mid.
But they have to. That's the
Stalkat
thing. I mean,
able to lay down the ultimate, still on cooldown for him. And the rest of xGame will just sit back and wait for the Naga Siren to come back before they finish this game.
yeah, a little bit unfortunate that we did lose Reeves here, but I mean, they don't have the lineup to hold off against Mega Creeps. They have to make some kind of YOLO push happen here, be able to get it together fast enough before the Naga respawns. And have a choice right now, your path to winning this game, and he'll buy another one if he can. Hell yes, Silent.
What did he sell? What was okay?
Yeah, and
so the potential for Doom to make some big plays here. Unfortunately, the rest of their supporting cast here cannot deal with these Mega Creeps. They can't deal with the illusions. They can't deal with the Mega Creep. A war of attrition where the Naga Siren slowly but surely starts beating down your tier 4s now instead of tier 3s.
right. Even Silent is going to need the lifesteal aura from the Brewmaster to head and get another Aegis here on the Naga Siren when she comes back up. Oh, they actually.
We're going to see it on the Naga Siren just because the danger of her not having a buyback right now. Another 2.5 minutes, though. They could certainly just wait this out if they really need to and wait for all their buybacks to come back up. As Empire will just try and delay this game as much as possible. They're going to start losing more and more of these huts, and the tier 4s are going to start taking chip damage as well. Roshan will be taken. Doesn't look like Empire going to be able to interfere with it. It goes back to Dota 1, really.
Yeah. I thought they were Moonwells in Dota 1.
Yeah, they were Moonwells, but, you know, at what point in time?
It bothers my little OCD brain that building.
Yeah. I'm down with that too. There's just like, all right, I know it's a building, but come on. It's got to be something a little bit more than just a building.
Yeah, it's right up there on my list with super creep. Super creeps should be a thing.
Super creeps and mega creeps, yes, 100%. When you finish all the rags, super creeps is what you finish when just one lane of rags.
I've heard casters get called noob for saying that before because that's not what they're called in game. But it looks like we might have one deciding fight here. Yeah, I should stop, complaining about random things.
Yeah, Arrow's gonna come out. Empire going for one last smoke attempt at initiation here, but xGame just simply poking and prodding left and right. Stalkat is gonna be coming in through the back door, and with the Firefly, immediately goes for Silent. Mantis trying to help out. I think they realize this Divine is up. Already the Doom is onto Mantis, slowing him down with the Shivas. He has a secondary Doom to lay down as well. Then finish off Mantis, but it's not going to be enough. They're going to lose their throne if they're not careful. Silent trying to get himself away from some of these heroes. They did finish off one. Whatafucker comes in, trying to force him to drop that Divine. Not quite enough. Throne getting low, sitting at 2,500 health. Solo goes down. Buyback from the Batrider. Not quite sure what they can do, but the Megas will be winning this game for Empire if they can't put a stop to it. And there it is. They finish off this game with Megas and xGame. What was it? 10-90, the ratio of bets there on Dota 2 Lounge in the favor of Empire. xGame pulling out one hell of an upset here on ESL One.
Just an unbelievably played game out of both sides. Empire at the end there with behind Silence, Divine Rapier looked like they might have a chance to bring this one back from the very edge, but in the end it's not quite enough. He does manage to kill Mantis with the Divine, but just not enough to prevent the throne from going down. So amazing series by both teams. Congratulations to xGame on one of the bigger upsets I've seen in a while in Pro Dota 2. Excellently played out of them, and I can't wait. We got even more series to come in the rest of the day.
Yep, we first got to take a little bit of break and go over to Daily Motion, where the Dota 2 Champions League, Tinker versus Fnatic, and they are waiting for us. So we're going to be taking a short little break. We'll see you guys on Daily Motion.